It's really quite striking. So many adults seem to have tried time-restricted eating recently. It just shows how much, well, buzz there is around intermittent fasting.
Absolutely. People are calling it, a real game changer.
Yeah, for weight, metabolism, even longevity, potentially.
Yeah.
That Your Health Deserves a Lifeline series calls it a powerful tool.
It really does. And what's fascinating, I think, is how it flips the script on diet.
Flicks the script. How so?
Well, for ages, it's all been about what you eat, right?
Right. Carbs, fats, protein.
Exactly. But intermittent fasting, or IF, it puts the focus squarely on when you eat. That's the key thing both our sources today really zeroing in on.
Okay, right. And speaking of sources, we're looking at two today.
We are. First, there's that article, Intermittent Fasting, Benefits and Risks, from the Your Health Deserves a Lifeline series. Dr. Sudha Ramvishnoi wrote that one.
Okay.
And then we've also got episode 24 of the Lifeline's audio series by Supremedic. It's called Intermittent Fasting, Is It Right for You?
And Dr. Vishnoi hosts that one, too. That's interesting.
Yeah, it gives it a really practical sort of conversational feel. And it's pretty concise, like around 20 minutes.
Nice. So we get the written overview and the audio take.
Exactly. It should give us a really rounded view. So for you listening, our goal today is basically to unpack IF.
What it is, what it might do for you, the good stuff, the potential downsides.
And really help you figure out if it could actually work with, your life and your health. That's the core question in both sources.
Okay, perfect. So let's get into the nitty-gritty. What is intermittent fasting, really? Because it's not just like skipping breakfast sometimes, is it?
No, definitely not random. At its core, IF is a structured eating pattern. You're deliberately cycling between periods where you eat and periods where you voluntarily fast.
Okay, deliberate cycles.
And like we said, the main thing is the timing, not necessarily banning certain foods when you are eating.
Got it. So it's planned.
Yeah.
And the sources mention some common ways that people do it, specific methods.
Yeah, they highlight a few popular ones. The 168 method is probably the one you hear about most.
168.
So that's 16 hours straight of fasting, followed by an 8-hour window where you fit in your meals.
Okay, like eating only between noon and 8 p.m.
That'd be exactly like that. You fast from 8 p.m. overnight until noon the next day.
That actually sounds potentially doable for a lot of people. What else is common?
Well, then there's the 5.2 approach.
5.2.
Yeah, so 5 days a week you eat normally. But on 2 days, and they shouldn't be back to back, you cut your calories way down.
How far down?
Like to around 500 or 600 calories for the whole day. So a pretty significant restriction on those 2 days.
Wow. Okay. That's quite different. And wasn't there one more mentioned, something about whole days?
That's right. Eat, stop, eat.
Yeah.
That involves doing a full 24-hour fast once, maybe twice a week.
So like finish dinner Monday night.
And then not eat again until dinner Tuesday night.
Okay.
Exactly.
Those are some clear structures. But it sounds like it's not totally rigid. Like there's wiggle room.
That's a key point. While these methods are, the famous ones, the sources do stress that there are lots of ways to do IF. The most important thing is finding a rhythm that actually works for you.
Right. Something that fits your life, your goals.
Your body's natural patterns. That's what makes it sustainable.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
So we know what it is now. Why all the hype? Let's talk benefits. Weight loss seems like the big one everyone mentions first.
Oh, absolutely. It's a huge reason people try it. And yeah, weight loss often happens mostly because, well, if you have less time to eat, you often just eat fewer calories overall. Makes sense, right?
Yeah. Simple math, kind of.
And the Supremedic episode mentions there might even be a short-term boost to your metabolism, which could help too.
I remember reading something about how your body actually burns fuel differently when you fast. It's not just fewer calories in.
Exactly. When you're fasting, your body uses up its stored carbohydrates, glycogen. Once that's low, it has to switch gears and start burning fat for energy instead.
Okay. So it taps into fat stores more.
Precisely. That's a big part of why people might see changes in body fat. But, and this is important, both sources say this IF isn't like a magic wand.
Right.
You still need to eat healthy foods during your eating times and have a generally balanced lifestyle for it to really work well long term.
Definitely. Can't just fast and then binge on junk food.
Exactly.
What about insulin sensitivity? That comes up a lot too.
Yes, and that's a really significant potential benefit. The sources explain IF can help your body handle glucose blood sugar better.
How does that work?
Well, it might make your body more sensitive to insulin, the hormone that manages blood sugar. This could be really helpful for possibly preventing type 2 diabetes and just keeping blood sugar steadier.
So those fasting periods give your system a break, and it responds better when you do eat.
That seems to be the idea. Fasting can lower your baseline insulin levels. Less insulin floating around might make your cells more receptive when it is needed,
Okay.
which is good for managing blood sugar and potentially lowering the risk of metabolic problems.
Now, this next one sounds really futuristic almost. Cellular repair. Autophagy. Can you break that down?
Yeah, autophagy. It's pretty amazing, actually. Both sources describe it as your body's internal cleanup crew.
Cleanup crew. I like that.
Think of it like cellular recycling. When you're fasting, your body isn't busy digesting, so it can switch focus to clearing out old, damaged cell parts, making room for new, healthy ones.
So literally repairing itself from the inside out during the fast.
Pretty much. The Lifeline series notes this might have positive effects on aging and cell health generally.
Wow.
And the Suprematic episode mentions animal studies hinting at longer lifespans, though, we need more human research on that specific claim.
Of course.
But stimulating that cellular cleanup process, that seems like a real plus.
Definitely. And the last big areas mentioned were inflammation and heart health.
Right. Some studies mentioned in both sources suggest IF might help lower inflammation levels in the body.
And chronic inflammation is linked to lots of diseases, isn't it?
It really is. So reducing it could be a wide-ranging benefit. Plus, IF might also help with heart health factors, things like blood pressure, cholesterol levels.
Potentially lowering cardiovascular risk.
That's the idea. Again, the sources are careful. They say more long-term studies are needed to be sure.
Right. The research is promising, but still evolving.
Exactly. It's important to keep that perspective.
Okay, so lots of potential upsides. But like anything, it's not for everyone. Who really needs to be cautious or maybe just avoid IF completely based on the sources?
Yeah, this is super important, and both sources handle it carefully. First off, anyone with a history of eating disorders.
That makes sense.
The restrictive nature could easily trigger unhealthy patterns or thoughts. The focus there needs to be on a healthy relationship with food, not restriction, unless guided by a professional.
Absolutely critical. What about pregnancy or breastfeeding?
The sources are clear. Probably not a good idea. Pregnant and breastfeeding women need extra nutrients consistently.
Right, for themselves and the baby.
Exactly. Fasting could interfere with getting enough. So it's generally advised against unless a doctor specifically says it's okay and monitors closely.
Okay, and certain medical conditions too.
Yes, definitely. People with diabetes, for example, or low blood pressure, or existing heart problems.
Why those specifically?
Because fasting can really mess with blood sugar levels or blood pressure. It could interact with medications or make things worse. So for anyone with those conditions, talking to a doctor before even thinking about IF is essential, non-negotiable, really.
Got it. Essential. And kids or teenagers?
Generally not recommended. They're still growing, developing. They need consistent, adequate nutrition. Restricting eating times isn't usually the right approach for them.
Okay, so assuming someone doesn't fall into those groups and is curious to try, what are the tips for doing it safely? How do you start?
Both sources give similar advice here. The big one is start slow. Don't jump into a 16-hour fast on day one.
Ease into it.
Yeah. Maybe start with just a 12-hour overnight fast, which many people almost do anyway. Then, if that feels okay, gradually extend it.
Makes sense. And hydration. Does that matter more when fasting?
Hugely important. You need to drink plenty of water all day, especially during fasting hours.
Just water.
Well, plain water is best, but herbal teas, black coffee unsweetened, no milk or cream are usually fine too, as they have basically no calories.
Okay, and then when you can eat, what's the advice?
Focus on quality. Both sources really stress eating nutrient-dense whole foods.
So like?
Lean protein, healthy fats, lots and lots of fruits and vegetables. You need to make sure you're getting good nutrition in that smaller eating window.
So it's definitely not a license to eat junk food during the eating period.
Absolutely not. The Lifeline article is explicit. If FE isn't an excuse for unhealthy eating, the quality still matters, maybe even more.
Good point. What about listening to your body? Feels basic, but probably key here.
Oh, fundamental. You have to pay attention to how you feel.
Like if you're feeling really run down.
Exactly. Or super lightheaded, constantly ravenous, or just generally unwell. Those are signs to maybe ease off, adjust, or talk to a professional. It shouldn't make you feel consistently bad.
Right. And one source mentioned thinking about your lifestyle. What does that mean practically?
It means being realistic. Look at your daily schedule, work, social life, exercise. Does I fit reasonably well, or is it going to cause constant stress and disruption?
Like you have dinner meetings all the time or
Or a really demanding physical job, it needs some flexibility and commitment, but it shouldn't feel like a constant battle against your own life. If it does, maybe it's not the right fit for you right now.
and the last point was about how restrictive it feels. How do you judge that?
It's about being honest with yourself. Does this eating pattern feel too restrictive? Is it messing with your mood or energy in a negative way?
So if you're just thinking about food all the time or feeling deprived,
Yeah, if it feels like a constant mental burden, it might not be sustainable or healthy for you long term. A good eating pattern should feel manageable, nourishing mentally as well as physically.
okay. So wrapping this all up, what's the main takeaway about intermittent fasting from these sources?
I think the core message is, well, IF can be a really useful tool for a lot of people, for health improvements, for weight management, but it's definitely not a universal fix. It's not right for everyone.
And it really comes down to the individual, doesn't it?
Totally. You need to approach it cautiously, especially if you have health issues. And number one is listening to your body. What works wonders for one person might be totally wrong for someone else.
So for you listening, if this deep dive has got you thinking about IF, what are the sensible next steps?
Well, based on what we've discussed, probably take a moment, think about your own health, your lifestyle, maybe do a bit more reading from trusted sources.
And definitely talk to someone qualified.
Yes, absolutely. Talk to your doctor or a healthcare provider. They know your personal health picture and can give you tailored advice on whether IF is safe and makes sense for you.
Great advice. And maybe one last thing to ponder on. Beyond just these structured fasting times, how could simply being more aware of your body's natural rhythms like hunger and fullness influence how you eat every day?
That's a good question. Or maybe what other parts of your routine besides just when you eat could you tweak for some of those same metabolic benefits we talked about? Something to think about.